I'm James Barfield with your Urban Connection. And remember, this is the channel that is often imitated, but is never duplicated. Now, today I come to you guys with sadness in my heart as I talk about another young Black man is dead at the hands of 6 police officers. Now, this incident happened in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it happened about a week after the tragic death of one Tyree Nichols. Now, Raleigh, like Memphis, Tennessee, has a Black female police chief, and her name is Estella Patterson. So I don't have all of the details. All of the details have not been released yet. But I want to share with you what the police are saying happened to this young man, and his name is Daryl Tyree Williams. He's 32 years old. And this went down on January the 17th, as I stated, at about 2 a.m. in the morning. Now, they first encountered this man at 2 a.m. By 3 a.m., the young Black male was pronounced dead at their local hospital. Now, according to the police, and I take this with a grain of salt, but this, and according to the police and the police chief, this is what happened. Police in North Carolina's capital city released body and dashboard camera footage Friday that shows the arrest of a Black man who died after officers repeatedly used stun guns on him. Daryl Tyree Williams, 32, died at a hospital after being confronted and handcuffed by officers in a southeast Raleigh neighborhood about 2 a.m. on January 17th, according to a report by Police Chief Estella Patterson, released days later. The footage, authorized to be released by a state judge this week, shows officers approaching and searching Williams near a parked car. Now, I want you to listen to this story, ladies and gentlemen. There's 2 versions here. Now, the first version you just heard says they approached him near a parked car, all right? Now, a man can be heard, near a parked car. Police have said officers have been conducting proactive patrols of nearby businesses. A man can be heard on several of the body-worn camera recordings saying, "I'm not doing anything." Williams' family had no comment Friday on the release of the video footage. According to Don Blagrove with Emancipate North Carolina, a criminal justice reform group that has been in contact with the family. Family members viewed the footage on Thursday, a city spokesperson said. The footage from one body camera shows officers directing him multiple times to place his hands either up or behind his back. A struggle ensues, and someone can be heard threatening to fire a taser unless he stops. The police report says a taser was deployed temporarily, stopping Williams and causing him to fall. The video shows officers on the ground with Williams near a trash can. The police report said Williams then broke away from the officers. The video shows him stopped moments later in the parking lot, with officers telling Williams to get on the ground and trying again to arrest him. "Why are you all doing this to me?" Williams asked. The footage confirms the report's statement that Williams can then be heard saying, "I have heart problems," after he was stunned again, and before officers said another one would be coming if he didn't cooperate. Police have said Williams was stunned 3 times, twice through direct body contact with a taser. Once Williams appears to be detained, someone says, "Relax, man, relax, chill out." Seconds after that, officers become worried about whether he still had a pulse, but they turn him over and says he's breathing. One of the videos begins with Williams already on the ground and officers kneeling over him. He can be heard moaning. Williams became unresponsive and stopped breathing after he was handcuffed, according to the written account. The footage shows police doing chest compressions to try to resuscitate him. Emergency services arrived, and Williams was now pronounced dead at a hospital about 3 a.m. The cause of his death is under investigation. Wake County District Attorney Lauren Freeman said Friday that an autopsy had been performed on Williams, but that a final report from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has not yet been provided. The report said officers initially approached Williams as he sat in the driver's seat of a parked car. Now, wait a minute. That conflicts with what you just heard that I read that said they approached him near a parked car. And now we find out they approached him sitting in the driver's seat of a parked car. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I told you I take these reports with a grain of salt, because there were no witnesses. These officers had gathered, and apparently they couldn't even get their story straight. All right. A man inside, well, first of all, let me go. Said police tried, once he was approached in the driver's seat, an officer observed an open container of alcohol and marijuana in the car. Now, mind you, this case, just like Memphis, they never told the guy why they were approaching him in the first place. They never told him why they wanted him to get out of the car. Listen to this. Police tried to arrest him for possession of a controlled substance after they found a folded dollar bill with white powder in his pocket, the report said. In one of the videos, an officer approaches the car, like I said, from the passenger side. Okay. Oh, no. On one of the videos, an officer approaches the car from the passenger side. The door opens, and the officer asks, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? What are you all doing?" A man inside explains that he's walking to his house. The officer responds, "Okay, just do me a favor. Come over here, have a seat. Both of you." As the men in the car repeatedly ask why and for what, the officer repeats, "Just have a seat." 6 times he repeats this, not bothering to tell them why. They were being questioned. I won't say stop because remember, they were parked, according to at least some of the officers. They were sitting in a parked car. A search of Williams' car also found 2 firearms, one of which had been reported stolen, the report states. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. You see, this is trying to form the narrative to suit what you have written down. Now, the first question I would have is, so you found a couple of firearms. Let's say if that's true. Did you ever bother to check to see if they had a license to carry a firearm? Did you ever do that? Now, A passenger in the car left the scene on foot, the report adds. Now, how could that possibly be when you've got an officer on the passenger side? This is the guy that asked him to get out of the car and have a seat. So how could a passenger walk away on foot, ladies and gentlemen? See, this doesn't add up. These guys clearly did not get their story straight, and this is what they told the police chief, probably verbally as well as a written account. They gave a verbal account and a written account. So apparently something didn't add up here. Something does not add up. First, you say that he was approached near a car. And then you turn around and said that he was approached as he was sitting in the driver's seat in a parked car. Which one is right, ladies and gentlemen? Or either one of them right? Okay. Now, the police department sought a judge's permission to release the body camera and dash cam video from patrol cars. 6 officers involved in the arrest are on administrative leave, and the State Bureau of Investigation is conducting a probe. Now, this is protocol for most police departments in the country. When officers are involved in deadly shootings or excessive force or brutality, they are placed on leave, and normally it's with pay. All right. So basically, what they're doing is they put these officers on leave so that they can get their story together, right? And then they'll come out with a formal statement, and at some point after that, they'll release body cam footage or dash cam footage, okay, to show that make this footage comply with their story that they put together. But you can't put 2 stories together. You can't put a story together that the guy was approached near a parked car and then turn around and put a story out that says, no, they approached him as he was sitting in the driver's seat of a parked car. They both can't be right. Okay, so it appears that the family has seen the footage, and that's the only people that have seen this footage so far. And there's no response from the family regarding what they saw. How many times do we have to watch public executions before policing will be held accountable? Blagrove said. Now, that's a guy with the Emancipate in North Carolina. Emancipate NC stands behind demands presented to Raleigh City Council and expect to see officers held accountable for Darrell Williams' death. Now, I want to say a couple of things here. This happened 10 days after the beating death of Tyree Nichols. Now, unlike the police chief in Memphis, this Black female police chief in Raleigh has not filed any charges against these 6 officers. They've been placed on leave. This police chief has not shown any video, either dash cam or body camera footage to the public. So at this point in time, we're left to take the account that was given to her by these 6 officers, and she has reported as accurate. We have no way of knowing that. The passenger in the car has not been identified, but I don't understand how an officer who approached the car from the passenger side asked these 2 gentlemen to get out of the car and have a seat over here. How could one guy walk away on foot? See, there's several things here that just don't add up. So like the Memphis incident, killing, I'll say, there's more to this story than we're being told. Something is being left out. There, even from this little bit that I know, there are gaping holes in this report that is put forward by this Black female police chief in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay? Now, I don't know what part of it that she is taken for granted. I don't know how long she's been a police chief in Raleigh. I don't know how long she's been a police officer. I know none of that. I just know that she appears to me, from the photo I've seen, she appears to be a quite young female chief. Because normally, before being appointed as chief, an officer has to serve at least, usually, at least 10 years on force. Now, I might be wrong, but she certainly looks too young for that. But we'll see what happens. I think there's more to this story. Certainly, there's more to come. I think that the district attorney there has said that they would be issuing a follow-up report within 5 days. Now, this was as of Friday, okay? Just this past Friday, so that's 2 days ago. We will see what comes of this, all right? But another young Black male, and I have to say this, unarmed, because he did not, according to this report, did not have a firearm on his body, not in his hands. They found this later on in the car. They say they found 2 guns, but we don't know. Maybe the guy had a license to carry them. Maybe in North Carolina, like some states, you don't have to have a license. You can carry an unconcealed weapon without a license and without training in some states. I don't know, North Carolina might be one of them. But I do know this. This account that I just read to you leaves a lot of questions to be answered. All right? So we'll see. Now, let me say this. In my previous video regarding the Memphis Police Department, someone brought up the Citizens Review Board, and a lot of cities have them. And I want to give you my take on Citizens Review Board, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Citizens Review Boards don't have any power, don't have any authority, and don't have a budget. The only thing they can do is, after the case is closed, the Internal Affairs has made a decision, the police chief has made a decision, can they do anything? And the only thing they can do is go in and review what's transpired. They have no authority to make any changes. They have no authority to do any investigating. They have no authority to issue any subpoenas. So basically, in my opinion, they're worthless. So I want you people to understand, do not put your faith in a Citizens Review Board unless it has subpoena power. And I want to explain something to you, because people get highly, highly excited once their city appoints a Citizens Review Board. So let me tell you something. There are 2 kinds of civilian boards, and they're called independent. The effective ones are independent citizens oversight boards, and those have subpoena powers. They have the ability to have oversight over these police officers in their department. Citizens Review Board don't have any authority whatsoever. Don't be mistaken. Don't be misled. Don't get excited when somebody in your city says we're going to form a Citizens Review Board. We don't need reviews. We need oversight. And if you're not going to get oversight, if that board is not going to have the authority to investigate before the case is closed, it's worthless. So don't get excited and don't talk about citizens review boards having law enforcement officers on their board. They don't have it. Citizens Review Board, both those that are ineffective and those that are effective, do not have members of law enforcement on their board. And one more thing, regardless as to which type of board you get in your city, you do not want a board where all of the members are appointed by your city manager or by the mayor. You don't want that, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to be effective. And I want to tell you one other thing. One other way you know they're not going to be effective. If there is no opposition from the Fraternal Order of Police regarding a review board or an oversight board, it's not going to be effective. Okay? Because if they thought that it was going to be effective, they would be raising all kinds of hell and all kinds of opposition to the formation of such board. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my story for tonight, but we will have to keep a close watch on the city of Raleigh, North Carolina, in the coming days and weeks to get the rest of the story, because there's a lot missing here. But we need to find out the rest of the story to determine who's right, who's wrong, and what happened, because right now we don't know. All right? Okay, that's my show for tonight. I'm out.